Okay, so we're going to spend a little time talking about physical activity as opposed to exercise. So we're going to talk about trying to adopt some just daily living habits that can drastically have a positive impact on your health. So years ago when I started teaching this course, this is what my overall recommendation was: nutrition, exercise, and stress management. And you saw a version of this a little bit later because I modified this a little bit to include environment as well. Because as we talked about in chapter one, your environment can have an impact on your health overall, but also on your exercise and nutrition habits and your stress levels. So there's actually another modification that I'm making for the first time ever. So I'm going from this nutrition, exercise, stress management, environment, and I'm changing it to this physical activity. Because as we saw in the Blue Zone video, those people don't exercise really. They're just getting a lot of physical activity throughout the day. Okay, and that's really probably what is more important. I'm kind of modifying this, and I think we're going to learn more about this over the next decade or so. But it appears to be now that rather than just getting 30 minutes of exercise every day, that being physically active throughout the day, maybe not as much as intensely as an exercise, but just regular physical activity, that is probably better for you in the long run. All right, so exercise is essentially a form of physical activity, and we talked about all the health benefits. And again, I'm not, please don't take this the wrong way, I'm not discouraging the use of exercise. I'm just trying to emphasize the importance of overall physical activity for, especially for those people that aren't interested in exercise. Um, Other forms of physical activity tend to be less stressful on the body, but can offer the same benefits. Again, blue zone people, the longevity was linked to overall physical activity. They were gardeners, they were catching fish, they would walk 5 miles a day. It was just the daily things that they were doing every day. The women in Japan would sit on the floor and they would sit down and stand up from the floor every day, like 20 or 30 times a day. So it's just these daily activities that they're doing that really promote health. There's something called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and you hopefully read through a couple articles under the reading material on NEAT. So this is really a cool concept, and it's really basically the idea. When they study this, they find that people that are working in moderate in occupations that involve either strenuous or even moderate activity, things like waitresses or women that or men that work in a daycare center that are chasing children around all the time, or carpenters or construction workers, people that are involved in regular activity that think that they don't actually exercise. If somebody asks them, they say, "Oh, I don't have time to exercise." They're actually probably burning more calories overall than the person that sits behind a desk all day and then goes to the gym for 30 minutes. So, what you really want to try and do is boost your NEAT. And the two articles that I posted under the reading assignment should be able to help you do that. But there's easy ways to do this. It's just don't sit. That's basically what it is. Get up and walk around. When you're looking at the nano workouts for our discussion this week, there are all sorts of nano workouts that you can do. That will, instead of sitting at your computer, you're standing and doing leg squats or doing something like that. It can be a little silly to kind of do these things, but this is what's really going to help you increase your overall thermogenesis. Um, there's also a lot of evidence that you really need to enjoy your workout to get a lot of benefit from it. So, in other words, you take people that their doctor or their spouse insisted that they start an exercise program, and they're kind of forced into it. They don't really get the same amount of health benefits as someone that really enjoys the type of exercise that they're doing. So, um, bottom line here is do something that you enjoy. Do something that you're going to enjoy doing, something that you see as enjoyable rather than as a chore. If the idea of putting on your gym equipment and going to the gym and working out, just you're not motivated to do it, that's fine. Just go take a walk or do something. If there's a show on TV, I do all kinds of exercises when I'm watching TV. I'm a little fidgety, so I can't sit in front of a TV and just not do anything. But there's nothing wrong with being fidgety, because being fidgety, for those of us that are fidgety, you're actually increasing your NEAT. You're burning off your NEAT. So sitting there and kind of moving around a little bit is actually good for you. And still we're being told that we should take drugs to have that stop, but you don't need to do that. There's nothing wrong with being fidgety. Um, Again, the level of enjoyment that you get from your daily physical activity, things like gardening, especially when there's purpose behind it. You're growing food for your family, or you're catching fish for your family. That kind of physical activity and something that you really love to do, and it has purpose behind it. That is really where you're going to get the optimal health benefits from physical activity. And we call this psychoneuroimmunology. We're going to see this term a lot more when we talk about mind-body medicine. So it's basically the more that you enjoy the exercise or the physical activity, the more benefit you're going to get from it. Um, so it's just everyday activities, the benefits of daily, just using physical activities throughout the course of your day, rather than just taking a 30 and 40 minute break and going and doing something more intense. Um, it's much easier to work into your schedule because if you're watching your kids, you can run around and play tag with your kids. I get my heart rate up pretty high chasing my son around. He's 5 years old. Um, you know, lifting in a certain way. I have to lift my son up all the time. Not so much anymore, but you do arm curls with your son, basically. There's different things that you can do. And again, when you read the Nano Workout website, I think you'll get some more ideas about what you can do. But gardening is wonderful. It's great exercise. Most of my exercise during the summer comes from the farm. I go up there and I'll spend 2 hours a day, 2 or 3 hours a day, hacking away at different things, at weeds and things like that. And it's a great exercise. So even if you only have 10 minutes to take a break, go take a break and go take a walk somewhere. Um, and keep in mind that, a lot of people at work get a lot of physical activity. If you're at one of those jobs that doesn't require physical activity, try and take regular breaks and take walks throughout the day. Um, Anytime you're standing around waiting to do something or waiting for something, it's an opportunity to do some sort of physical activity. I'm constantly now doing like very light upper body exercises and some lower body exercises. I'll do isometrics, just standing around playing with my son, or when he's in the pool and I'm just kind of standing there watching him. I'll do different types of isometric exercises, and it is a little, you do get a little self-conscious doing some of these things out in public, but I just do it kind of quietly, and most of the time people don't even really notice what I'm doing. um, and then when you're inside your house, of course, while you're cleaning, I know it sounds really silly, but I do these thrusts when I'm and you'll see it again when you go to that website. Or just break up your day, take a few walks a day. I like to go shoot hoops. I work a lot on the computer. I'll go take a 20-minute break, go play basketball for 20 minutes, just kind of mess around. Um, go walk my dog for 20 minutes, throughout the day. So all these things, they add up. They really do in the end. So anytime that you have the opportunity to not sit down and do nothing, then do it. Anytime you have the opportunity to just stand there and just do a small amount of physical activity, you're benefiting yourself. So that's where these nano workouts really come in handy. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Take care.